So let's shift gears a little bit here from the Blue Jays. Albert Pujols currently sitting at 698 home runs for his career. Aaron Judge sitting at 60 for the season. Both two bombs away from truly monumental and in Judge's case record-breaking stuff, which is pretty darn cool for baseball fans this season. This is not the sort of thing you get to see every year.
No, yeah, and it's like we had the two-way player last year. We got these home run
Yeah.
chases this year. It does feel like we've been in a bit of like a baseball history renaissance the last 3 years. Like you hear people talk about the steroid era, and you talk about the McGuire Sosa chase and how like pivotal those are for like modern baseball history. I don't know if we're going to view this year quite like that going forward, but maybe there'll be an ESPN 30 for 30 made about this season. Like I think there are just enough interesting storylines that it's been cool to kind of be a follower of baseball overall, not just the Blue Jays this season for sure.
More so than, and I love that you brought up the last 3 years because I agree with you 100%. It's funny how much intrigue has been injected into the games by some of these individual performances that have just been off the chart, right?
I think it helps that these are happening on the Yankees and Cardinals too, like two of the most historic, two of the most followed fan bases. Like I don't know, I don't can't say either way, but I don't know if this the Judge home run record, like everyone's really in on this American League record. I don't know if it's Eugenio Suarez and the Mariners hitting 60 homers. Is it as followed? Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? But walk year, Aaron Judge, Yankees. I think it helps it being such a big deal.
For sure. Um, so the playoff race this year has been awesome, and I know that I was one of those old man losers at the beginning of the season that was just like, "Why are we expanding the playoffs?" And I got to walk that back now because this has been a lot of fun, and I think it goes without say that MLB kind of hit this one out of the park. Is this a success in your mind, the expanded playoffs?
I like it because of the playoff format, maybe more than I do the expansion. Like I like this best 2 out of 3 series. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
really good for the game. I think it's just makes it like those wild cards. I think we're going to look back in 30 years and be like, what were you doing having teams play one game to determine their entire seasons? Like it was kind of gimmicky. I think we're going to look at it that way. But I think like maybe you take out those third spots, especially in the American League. This is still a really interesting race. I might argue it's more interesting if there's only two wild card spots because then it's the Jays, Mariners, and Rays fighting for two spots, and one of those
Mm-hmm.
teams is going to be out. So I do like it for baseball. I like it for kind of more fan bases are going to get in on the playoff fun, which I think is good and good for the long term health of the league. But I do think there was something unique about playing 162 games, and you can win 91 games and you can be on the outside. I think that
Mm-hmm.
was as heartbreaking as that can be. I might miss that.
It did make playoffs special for baseball, I thought.
Yeah, like if you made it to the playoffs, that's an accomplishment in itself. And I think a lot of GMs, a lot of organizations, they view it as our goal is to build a team that can make the playoffs, and then whatever happens, happens. And obviously, if you make the playoffs and lose a few years, you got to elevate your standards. But the baseball playoffs were truly an accomplishment to make it. And they're still definitely an accomplishment. You're playing a lot of games. Not many teams make the playoffs, but slightly less so this year.